Hi, I'm a Starfleet captain.
I'm Captain Deadpool. And we watched Captain...
Hook. Was it Captain
Crunch?
Kirk? Or was it Captain...
Shazam?
Or was it Captain America? Or was it Captain Jack Sparrow? Captain Janeway?
No, it was none of those. It was Captain Marvel.
No, it was Captain Planet. No,
Oh, Captain Planet. Yes. I forgot about Captain Planet.
Why are there so many captains?
Because it's just a title you can give to anyone and just make them sound cool.
But yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
It has tiny plot holes that you don't think about unless you're actually trying to think about them.
I did, but that's just me. I'm a dork. But, so basically it's set in 1995.
I was 3.
I was 5.
Well, I was born in November, so maybe I was only 2 at that time. It doesn't matter what month it is.
Yeah. We're old. That's all that matters. We're old enough to remember Blockbuster.
20-something nerdy critics. 20-something nerdy critics.
Yeah.
We're the spin-off nobody watches of the 30-something nerdy critics. It's all about Captain Marvel. It's her origin story.
Yeah, so it basically starts with her, doing some training on the Kree homeworld of Hala?
Yeah, Hala. Hala, if you hear me! No, wait, that's Scott Steiner.
Which, to me, it sounded a little bit too similar to Hela, but whatever. I guess it's from the comics, so...
And her and her team, are sent on a mission, but first she's training with Judd Lin, or however you say his name, whose character name I completely don't even remember if I heard it.
Me neither.
It's just Judd Lin.
Yeah, he's, trying to be the mentor, but we'll get to that later.
Her given name is Vers, but everyone who knows anything about Captain...
They pronounced it Vers.
Right. It's just the last 4 initials of her name.
4 letters.
Yeah.
But
they're sent on a mission to retrieve a Kree informant or a spy.
Yeah.
So her and her team of 3 other people, one who showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Ronan also makes a cameo in this too.
As a Darth Vader or Darth Maul alike hologram.
Yeah. But he appeared in live action too at the end.
There were 2 Ronin. I don't think they would have sent an accuser. I don't think they sent Ronin there. I think he sent some subordinates. Because they're called the accusers, so there's more than one. I
think one of them was in fact Ronin because they addressed him by name as Ronin.
No, I don't think he sent himself. Because Judd Lin talked to Ronin, but I don't think he sent himself. He wouldn't have. He would have been off looking for the Power Stone, probably. So I don't think he sent him. I don't think he
would. He not have also been looking for... We'll get to that.
He also had facial hair, which neither of them did.
This was also 20 years before that?
He had facial hair in the hologram. Neither of the accusers had facial hair.
Okay,
neither of them were him.
Whatever. Moving on.
I could look up the actors to prove it, but I'm not going to.
Okay, well...
I'm not petty I'm not that petty.
Anyway, so yeah,
they're sent to retrieve a spy who has intel for them that they don't want the Skrulls. Skrulls, sorry. I knew I was going to screw it up at some point. Kree, Skrulls, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
they don't want them to find, so they send the team, but it turns out to be an ambush, because that whole planet is populated by Skrulls. And they end up capturing Captain Marvel, or just Vers.
Vers.
They
pronounced it Vers.
I don't care. And they need her memories.
They have this machine. That's why, in the trailer you saw her upside down with those weird... That's what that was. It was a mind-probing machine. They were probing her memories and finding a mix of Kree and human Earth memories. And they're like, what the hell is going on? This isn't right.
Yeah. And I thought aliens only did probing the other way. I had to put a terrible joke in there somewhere. You mentioned probate now. I suddenly started thinking about it.
Or they might latch onto your face, and then a few days later
You become one. You die, and one of them is born from you.
yeah, out of your chest. But changing this back to the
But she escapes. She escapes.
Yes.
To find her memories, basically.
Well, yeah.
I thought it did a good job of making her sympathetic. Like somebody who, sure, she has these superpowers, but she's basically stuck in the middle of a war and doesn't know what to do.
Well,
And they kept talking about her emotions. Her emotions would be her problem. And it ended up really her emotions being, her human part was what made her who she is.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. A lot of spoilers at the end.
Yeah.
A lot of reveal stuff. But
So she lands on Earth, in a blockbuster.
yeah, right through the roof.
Because this is the 90s. Freaking blockbuster.
Dude. Imagine all our my younger viewers are like, "What's a blockbuster?
Look it up.
What's a VHS tape?"
And she ends up encountering Nick Fury, who's only like level 3 in S.H.I.E.L.D. at that time, and not not the head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and he's also pre-eye patch. We'll get to that too.
And she also asks a cop for help, and she goes into a Radio Shack to use a telephone and somehow her communicator can interact with to make a signal all the way back to her crew.
They sort of loosely established that Kree technology can interface with other slightly less advanced technology and, upgrade it by doing so.
By doing stuff.
Yeah. Of course, don't know anything about science!
But, like, I'm trying to think what they did next.
Oh, yeah, she, the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents try to arrest her because she blew up a blockbuster.
Well, yeah.
but
And
then a Skrull starts shooting at them, and she chases after the Skrull on a train.
It was an enjoyable action set piece where she figured out who the Skrull
yeah,
was.
like that scene in the trailer where she punches an old lady.
Was because the old lady actually got off the train and that was the Skrull imposter.
I'd already figured that out from the trailer.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
That it was a Skrull.
Yeah, especially that face she made, like.
And it's amusing the fact that the train passengers didn't know what to do besides stop her from beating up an old lady. Even though the old lady was kicking her ass, they never thought, "Oh, an old lady shouldn't be able to do this. We shouldn't get involved." They said, "No, we're going to hold her back." Because they then morphed into some other guy who hilariously saw that and was like, and staring at an image of himself, going, "What the hell just happened?"
Yeah. Oh, and Stan Lee was on that train.
Oh yeah, Stan Lee was. The only
What was
obligatory Stan Lee cameo?
one thing I want to mention? I'm assuming they must have filmed that before Stan Lee.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh, before the official movie actually starts, the opening credits or logo. We don't normally talk about it, but it was all of Stan Lee's cameos, all of them.
As a rest in peace Stan.
Yeah. It's similar to what Star Trek Beyond did for Leonard Nimoy.
Right.
I like the look that Stan Lee and Bear.
Captain
She just Bears at that point.
The movie's Captain Marvel. Nobody calls her Captain Marvel, but
But anyway, I like the look that they just sort of smile at each other as though they knew something.
Like, this is a cameo.
No, but not just that, but almost sort of a fourth wall breaking. Did she know that Stan Lee was a Watcher informant? Because they kind of gave each other that look that was like they knew.
Maybe the Kree do know that.
Maybe.
Because the Watchers have been along.
Because that look was just the they knew look.
It's like, oh hey, it's you. Oh, it's like, oh, here again.
Yeah.
Hop on this train often.
But yeah.
Then she ends up talking to, having a, losing words
with Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, yes, and they
Nick Furious. And they
the Fast and the Furry.
We'll get to.
But they decide to team up to prevent what they think is a Skrull invasion.
Yeah. Also, what's his name?
Coulson.
Yeah. Made a cameo.
Yes. First as a Skrull.
Yeah, because it was as the Nick Fury and Coulson were chasing after Carol Danvers and the other Skrull in their car.
He made references that the Skrull didn't understand.
Yeah, and then not just that, but then after the chase, he gets a phone call from Coulson saying, "Hey guys, I'm still here at the Blockbuster. Where is everybody?" And he looks over at the.
You're not Coulson. And I kind of got a feel. I got like the second that Coulson was on screen, he was like smiling like. I'm like, that's probably not him. Like my immediate guess was like he was like just standing there smiling too much. I'm like, that's probably an action of somebody who doesn't understand how a human acts. So it's probably a Skrull.
Yeah.
And like there were a few more fake outs, supposed fake outs in the movie. Like they go back to a dissection of the Skrull.
Yeah. And then the guy who plays Orson Krennic.
Nick Fury. He's Nick Fury's boss in the movie.
Yeah.
He shows up, and it's kind of obvious but he comes over to dead body. He's like, "I'm sorry, my brother." And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
It's like you couldn't make it more obvious.
Yeah. I mean,
even bringing Nick Fury figure out later because they were in an elevator.
Because we have to address like when Nick Fury and Captain Marvel were exchanging dialogue together.
She explained that the Skrulls could only copy somebody's memories so far. They couldn't copy people's distinct
Yeah, they could only copy recent memories.
Yeah.
But
so Nick Fury used that.
Not only that, but another thing he mentioned, like when she asked, when I think she sees Nick Fury's name tag or something and she says, "You have 3 names."
Oh no, he has to say his name to get in the building.
Yes.
So he goes Nicholas Joseph Fury,
and she's like, "You have 3 names," and he says, "Everyone I know just calls me Fury. Your mom?
Fury.
Fury. Your kids?
If I had them, they'd call me Fury. Your wife? Fury.
Yeah.
Everyone at work?
Then because later I'm just gonna call him Krennic because I can't remember the actual character's
Skrull
name.
Krennic.
Yeah. When they're in the elevator together,
he calls him Nicholas,
and you can tell like Nick Fury's just like,
nobody calls me that.
No, he didn't say it. He just had this look.
He knows like nobody calls me.
No, but let me do the look. Like, it was such an over-the-top look. I mean, it was so,
because he and Carol had escaped there, because they went to the base to look for somebody in Carol's memories.
I mean, he's a secret agent. If it was just a matter of, like, he figured it out, he would have been like... No, but he was like...
Had to be over the top about it, yeah.
Because I'm thinking it was more about him just figuring it out. It was about him being offended at being called Nick.
Not being called Nick.
I mean,
well... He was called Nicholas, though. No, not being called Fury.
Yeah, you just like that look. It was just like,
yeah. Because earlier they were in the looking for the woman, and they're in the archives.
Yeah,
because they got locked up.
Yeah, they're trying to look up
the woman.
Yeah, her backstory, and there was apparently this plane that
5 years ago.
6 years.
6, sorry. Yes.
1989.
Yes.
So and that was a light speed plane, which I'm just gonna say it right here. Light speed in the grand cosmos is not that fast.
But I guess apparently the Skrulls
our nearest star system, Alpha Centauri, takes over 4 years for light to reach. So they could have used something else. I know, like they say light speed in Star Wars, but that's not what it is. It was a wormhole.
The Skrulls wanted to use it to help them conquer the universe easier. make it easier to conquer the universe. That's at least what the Kree say.
Yeah.
The Kree.
We'll get to that.
The Kree say. So like, it's amusing because they're in the elevator and he's like, she's on the 6th floor. I'll stop on the 5th floor. And he's like, knowing she's actually on the 5th floor.
Yeah. But another thing that's interesting is that
the cat.
That too.
The cat's in the scene. That's the first scene the cat shows up in.
That too. There's one other thing I want to mention. The pager.
Ah, yes.
Nick Fury
Calls
pages,
in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. But
he calls in the bad guys, basically.
Wait, because only their leader was actually taken over by a Skrull.
Yes.
And basically, he said, take them both in, dead or alive.
Yeah.
The only one of them, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, who was iffy about that was Coulson. All the others were just like, yep, okay.
We're just gonna do our job.
Except, I'm wondering, because if you've seen Captain America the Winter Soldier, spoilers, half of S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra from the start. I'm just wondering if all those other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that just happened to be on that particular squad team, or they, arranged to be on it because they kind of figured it out, were Hydra.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe they're like there'll be like fan theories speculating about it, like us too, that they were so quick to just turn on Nick Fury because they were Hydra.
And we also have the first appearance of Goose the cat, who's not quite a cat.
Yeah, yeah, but
yeah, Carol was in a plane crash 5 years earlier with the doctor. I can't remember her name.
They said it so many times, and I can't remember.
Yeah. Spoiler: she turned out to be Marville.
Yeah.
She turned out to be a Kree.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but she was one who had was like sick of the war and wanted to make it stop.
Yeah. So she turned out to be protecting a group of Skrulls, a family of Skrulls, in her what's supposed to be her laboratory, which everyone wants to find.
Yeah.
Like the Kree and the main Skrull who stole Canvas.
For a specific reason.
Yes.
Well, first of all, before we get to that, Carol Danvers meets up with her old friend, and she starts relearning all her backstory.
They have a pretty good emotional character scene of her with her friend and her friend's daughter and all the stuff they did together. And it makes Carol remember what happened in the plane crash and the fact that Judd Lin was the one who wanted to take the engine and he shot Marville and killed her, and Carol, in an attempt to self-defense, blew up the engine, which in turn gave her powers.
Yes, we'll get to more of that. First, I want to get to the part where you see the two last surviving Skrulls from that mission had already gotten to the house of Carol Danvers' friend.
Yeah.
And there's a knock at the door. Carol says, "Don't answer that. They can be anyone." And she answers it, and it's their neighbor. It's like, she says, "I figured you out. Don't try." And then it turns out he's actually right behind her. It's like,
and you have to be more accepting of neighbors.
Yeah, you never know when you'll need to borrow sugar. And I like how he's just sipping a soft drink.
Yeah. I don't even know if the soft drink, it looked white. It might have been,
yes, but I'm just wondering, wait, this guy's an alien. How is he so sure he's able to tolerate human food?
I don't know.
It might make him sick. Whatever. I focus on weird stuff like that.
He's having fun because he's supposed to be the villain. He's doing what a villain would do.
Except, we learn in the very next scene, no, he's not.
At least not his group of Skrulls.
No.
His families.
They're on the run. They're refugees. They're just trying to survive and find a home. It's the Kree that are hunting them down because they're assholes. Because they just want to take over the galaxy, and the Skrulls didn't want to be part of that.
and the Skrulls have an ability that's perfect for infiltration and taking over places.
Yes, but just because they have that ability doesn't mean all of them use it for that.
No.
At least this particular group of them just wanted to find a new home.
And they started out as surfer dudes and do that. And there, two of them walk up and they hear his insane body. He's like, "This one's already taken." It's like, they don't even try and change their voice. It's like, oh, he's disguised as a woman, but he's still talking like himself.
And there's a whole bunch of other people on that beach. You can see them doing that.
Who just
transforming.
Who evidently just don't pay attention.
Yeah, well.
Because it's the beach. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's the 90s.
Yeah. Dude!
Surfing!
Extreme! But anyway,
But then, so they have to get to the
orbiting his space station.
Yes. And it's at this point Judlin decides, oh, I'm going to be the villain now. As he kills one of the other Skrulls, the science guy.
Well, it's not that he just decided he was going to be the villain. He revealed that he was the villain. Or
Yes.
it was revealed that they were the bad guys, the Kree. Because
And he decides to, at this point, he calls Ronan to say, bomb C3, C2, 3, whatever the code name of Earth is.
Yeah.
I can't remember, it's C something, C3 something.
Yeah, and the thing
C3PO.
the thing is, you know, I don't know why you were so surprised that the Kree were the bad guys, because the Kree were the bad guys in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Ronan the Accuser was the villain in that, and he made a cameo in this.
It's just because that stuff went over my head.
Nothing goes over my head.
I didn't pay attention.
My reflexes are too fast. I will catch it.
That, and they tried to make them seem good guys when interacting with Carol. They tried to hide it, not very well, evidently, but they tried to.
They made it kind of, you know, a little obvious that they were just, it was all propaganda.
Yeah. Oh, and we forgot, Carol had interactions with the higher intelligence who appeared to her as the woman everyone's looking for.
Yeah.
I forget if the greater collective or something, I forget what they're, basically the Kree higher-ups.
Yeah.
Have a really creepy kind of way of interacting with people, of just sticking them full of tubes and interacting with their subconscious.
Apparently, it's an AI. It's like a supercomputer.
And then they were like, they had a back and forth at the beginning. They're like, what does it look like to you? Your brother? Your mother? Like Carol to Judlin.
Yeah. But
Because it reveals itself to every Kree differently. No one's allowed to look at the true form.
No, I think it was actually established that it has no true form because it's an AI. It doesn't have a solid physical form, unless it's setting up for something in a future movie.
Maybe. But so then we have the next action set piece on the ship where the Kree warriors, her whole team, come after her. And the Tesseract, it reveals Marville had the Tesseract.
Yeah, that's what the engine was. It was the Tesseract.
Right.
Which kind of creates a little bit of a plot hole, because we saw in Captain America, the First Avenger, that Howard Stark actually did fish it out of the ocean, like Nick Fury said in the first Avengers movie to Captain America. They showed that. So how did it end up on a space station? Maybe, Howard Stark was a pretty smart guy. He had it sent up there, but how would he have known about the Skrull? Did he know about the Skrulls and the Kree? I don't know. They didn't really explain that. Mm-hmm. They could have dropped a line of dialogue or something about, Howard Stark's involvement in that.
Nope. Because then we have to have Carol finally realizing herself, her full potential, because the whole movie's been about, her emotions cloud her ability to perform as a soldier.
But of course that was just lies to
keep her in control, because they had a control chip on the back of her neck.
Which they told her was actually the source of her power, because they told her that her power emanated from, They
gave it to her.
Yeah.
They gave it to her and they could take it away. It was all lies to keep hold of her. Even her memory of being attacked by a Skrull was a lie.
Yeah. It was an implanted memory.
Yeah. Just because they want her controlled. And then she finally breaks free and goes friggin' binary, which is actually the name of her form from the comics, of Binary.
Okay.
Like it's supposed to be like with the helmet on and at as much power as she could put out. Is given her form is given the name binary.
That sounds like something else, but whatever.
Well, isn't that computer code? Binary?
That too, but I was thinking something a little more, oh my.
Oh, no. No, but that's just a name given supposedly to when she puts out so much, absorbs a lot of energy, because her powers in the comics are she can absorb energy. So, she uses psionic energy, but she can also absorb it. And when she absorbs so much of it, she goes into a form called binary, which is basically what she did at the end of the movie. But generally, it's more, in the comics, it's more based on her absorbing energy than her just unleashing it.
Well, basically, her origin for her powers in this was she got them from the Tesseract.
Yep.
And it's already been established that characters in both the comics and in the movies can gain permanent powers from Infinity Stones just by interacting with them.
And she also had Kree DNA basically transfused.
Blood.
Yeah, transfused to her. Basically, Judd Lynn's DNA transfused for her, which is how, in one of the scenes, he discovered that somebody was looking like her, like Carol, as a distraction. The science guy was disguised himself as Carol, probably as a distraction to keep Judd Lynn there.
Mm.
And that's how he discovered, because he's like, whose blood is coursing through your veins? And the Skrull didn't know.
Yeah.
So then he killed him.
Yeah.
But then she unleashes her full powers, takes out her old team, gets everyone to safety. We finally realize why the cat isn't a cat.
Because it has, Cthulhu tentacles coming out of its mouth.
It's a further or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Where it loves Krees, but it hates Skrulls. Skrulls hate it. Skrulls are repelled by the alien, but it loves the Kree. No, it's not that it loves the Kree. I think it got fooled by one of the Skrulls pretending to be a Kree.
I don't even think it's so much that it hates Skrulls. It's just that the Skrulls knew to be afraid of it because they knew what it was, because it's a dangerous, unpredictable creature that
eats the Tesseract. That swallows the Tesseract.
And it also swallowed a whole bunch of Kree soldiers whole.
So it's like Kirby.
Yeah. But with Cthulhu tentacles coming out its mouth.
And the love of Samuel L. Jackson.
And not of his eye.
Yeah, because that's how it happened. That's how his eye got scratched out, was because of Goose.
Yeah.
But then we have an awesome scene of Carol in her ridiculous helmet, because I figured you were going to mention it eventually.
Yeah. That helmet looks stupid. I'm sorry. Comic book fans, who love want everything to be authentic. They should have changed that. The rest of her outfit is perfectly fine. That helmet is so stupid.
And they gave a kind of cheesy reason as to why she changed her colors from the Kree.
Well, basically
teal. Basically, it was like teal and blue.
Blue, yeah. But basically, it was
it was A, the Air Force, and B, to match colors with her friend's daughter.
Yeah, because she was wearing an American Air Force top. Well, it makes more sense than it just being she landed in America. Might as well just be America.
Because she has a basically color changing option on her suit in her gauntlet, which is also a communication device.
Yeah.
It's like she's choosing neon. It's like, nah, 290s.
No, 280s.
Oh, 280s, right?
Yeah.
But she had all these colors, and they selected her iconic red, blue, and gold trim.
Yeah, because all the most powerful iconic superheroes have to have the America colors, like Superman, Captain America, obviously.
Captain Britain. That is a thing.
Yes, I know. I know, but I'm just realizing, they have the same colors.
But then a bunch of...
And there's Captain Canuck, which I know very little about.
But then, at the end of the movie, a bunch of Kree warships appear and try and nuke the Earth, and which she stops. I love that this planet doesn't have the defenses to stop us. It's like, it's not the planet. And it just zooms in on her blowing shit up.
What I found a little odd about that, though, is the missiles that they sent down. I assumed they were like really super powerful, like one of them would destroy an entire continent. But when they blew up just like one of our own regular missiles. Like it was an explosion, but it would even all of those missiles would have just been enough to maybe level a small town at most.
Yeah.
So that line didn't really work because we have nukes. We could have, if given enough time, intercepted hell, a jet plane could have just shot them all down. But I mean, obviously there wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying the explosion that was given off by them wasn't that big. It wouldn't have done that much damage unless somehow her powers made the explosion smaller, but that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And then they had the last line of like, we're coming back. For the test, for the weapon, for her, for the woman.
Yeah.
Like there was a whole undercurrent of everyone basically against Carol throughout her whole life of just because she's a woman, no one thinks she's good enough. Like that's a story that makes sense because that happens to everybody.
Not just women.
No, that happens to everyone. So it's like,
just the underdog. You know, the one that gets knocked down and keeps getting back up.
It just happened to be put through her filter, like her perspective. There was even a moment where she got catcalled outside of a bar.
Yeah.
That she was looking for her old best friend. She didn't even acknowledge the guy. She just stole his motorcycle. And we never saw from that guy again.
Your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
And we never saw from that guy again.
Yeah. But
the last scene is her fighting Judd Lynn, her old mentor.
Yeah, she pulled an Indiana Jones, because
fight me on your own merit. Boom. So, energy to the face.
I don't need to prove anything to you.
And you're going back to the Kree with a message that I'm coming to end this.
Yeah.
And which is why she's not on Earth in any of the latter superhero movies. Because she goes off back to the Kree to beat them up.
Yeah.
And that gives Nick Fury his inspiration to create the Avengers Initiative.
I also wonder if she had any involvement in in the setup for the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the Kree finally signing a peace treaty with Xandar, and Ronan being severely pissed off at that to the point where he decides, I'm just going to team up with Thanos now.
It could.
Yeah.
They have the potential to actually do that, because they're still going to make more Captain Marvel movies timeline-wise before the events of Endgame. And
obviously they're going to bring back everyone who, got dusted by the snap in Endgame, so we're going to get to see Captain Marvel interact with
Nick Fury again.
Not just that, but all the other Marvel characters, including the Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man, Thor, what I'm looking forward to seeing is her interacting with Thor, because they are the two heavy hitters who are also very proud of their power, and are I want to see them,
because Kevin,
I want to see banter between them. I want to see them when they're kicking ass, trying to one-up each other. I want to see that.
Because Kevin, what's his name?
Kevin Feige?
Yeah, he said that she is the strongest Avenger. He's literally said that, been asked about that, and said that in interviews. So, and then we get, a mid-credit scene about the Avengers Initiative, where Coulson makes jokes about Fury's lack of eye.
No, that wasn't a mid-credit scene. That was just towards the end of the movie, before the credits.
I forget what the mid-credit was.
Oh,
because I know the post-credits was the Avengers thing.
No,
yeah.
No, the end of the movie was, basically Nick Fury's at his desk, and Coulson gives him a set of fake eyes, and he's like,
they're like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, and then but he's writing up an initiative. He starts by calling it the Protectors Initiative. He's like, that doesn't sound right.
And then because he sees a photo of Carol on her plane, and her nickname is Carol Avenger Danvers.
And then
he's like, the Avengers.
And then he starts typing it in, and then musical cue.
The Avengers. And then they had...
And then the mid-credit scene
was was them with the pager that he left at the end of Infinity War and trying to activate it again. It's Cap, Black Widow, and
Bruce Banner
and Rhodey.
Rhodey, yes.
Rhodey, and then Black Widow's like, I want to know who's on the other end of it, and boom.
And she turns around and is like,
where's Fury?
Which is weird because the snap happened all over the universe. Shouldn't you have noticed something? Like, hey, why are suddenly half of all of existence gone?
And they're like, oh no, I'm getting a distress call. I'm on Earth. I kind of expected more of a line along the lines of, who's at the other end of that line? I am. Just because that's a bit more cheesy. That's what
but they cliche dodged that. But
yeah.
No, but they made it weirder because, like, how could she have not noticed half the universe turning to dust?
I don't know.
How could she have not noticed that?
I don't know. They'll have to explain it in Endgame.
Yeah.
It's kind of confusing, but yeah.
The end credit scene was just that alien cat thing puking up the Tesseract.
Yes.
Onto Nick Fury's desk.
Yes. But yeah. Overall, it was very enjoyable. I find. I enjoyed Carol's story. Like, her story of realizing what happened to her.
Yeah. There's only a couple of things that I feel are missed opportunities. One being, they had both Nick Fury and Coulson in this movie, and
no references to Captain America.
Yeah. All I would have wanted was just something from Coulson saying, "You remind me of one of my childhood heroes." After seeing, Carol Danvers' new, uniform.
Did he even see her? I think he only saw her in the hallway when he was told to look for Nick Fury.
Maybe, but regardless, if you're gonna have Coulson in the movie, and you could have just had that, you could have done that, just have him cheekily say, you remind me of one of my childhood heroes.
Yeah. The idea of where S.H.I.E.L.D. got their cloaking technology from.
Yeah, from the, that which, I commented that right in the theater, the satellite, the whatever, Nick Fury's looking at space so is the thing we're looking for in front of all this nothing we're looking at, or behind it?
Yeah.
And then Carolyn is like, okay, decloak.
Yeah. And the idea that her friend, Nick Fury offered her friend a job as an Air Force, as a pilot in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. So, this movie explains why S.H.I.E.L.D. has all this super tech, even before the Avengers.
And one of the guys from the Kree unit that Carol was on ends up working for Ronin. Because he tried to tell her he tried to tell Ronin what was going on, and Judlin stopped him from doing it.
Yeah. Which leads me to my other really confused point about this. Was it in Guardians of the Galaxy? I just assumed that guy was just happened to be a different species that happened to be working for the Kree. But no, half of the Kree look human, and the other half of them are blue. And they never explain that. It makes sense with, Carol Danvers, because she's half human.
Yeah.
But
my only theory was that they have captured humans before and done that.
They could have,
because Marville was also half human in this and had blue blood. So
there was nothing human in Marville.
I said Marvell.
I was making a joke.
But no, Marvell was human with Kree in her. Maybe they've kidnapped other people to do this.
They could have dropped a small line of dialogue to explain that.
They could have, but they didn't, and they just forced us to fill in the dots ourselves. But otherwise, I thought it was fun. There were some funny moments. The action was fun, and I've never been one to question the CGI.
One line that kind of made me laugh early in the movie when the Kree are tracking down where Bears, as they called her, landed, and they said their code name of planet, and One's like, you ever been there? Only once. It's a shithole.
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't as bad in the 90s. Maybe it was. I don't remember.
We had different problems.
Yeah.
We have always had problems. So, yeah.
And we've always, every single alien movie is, every single other species that lives out in the galaxy besides us has higher advanced weaponry than us. And always insults us for it. Always calling us like low or...
Well, until the Avengers, you know. But, and there's one other thing I want to mention. On that satellite, space station, whatever, they had a bunch of 80s paraphernalia, and some of that were troll dolls. Remember what other movie had a character who was obsessed with troll dolls?
Who knows, maybe he was a Kree as well.
He is blue, so
Yeah.
that would actually kind of make sense. But I mean, like, it's just, there's so many very subtle kind of references to Guardians of the Galaxy in this. Even if they weren't outright stated, aside from Ronan and the Kree, which is obvious, but I mean, little things like that. The 80s paraphernalia, especially the freaking troll dolls. And, like, that's why I really want to see Carol Danvers interact with the Guardians of the Galaxy when they get unsnapped.
But first she has to beat Thanos.
Well, she won't be doing it alone, but and again, obviously,
Because I'm pretty sure there won't be another Marvel movie between this and Endgame.
No, there isn't.
No, there's just Shazam. Is the only superhero movie.
Yeah, and that's
between,
DC.
Yeah.
But no.
Hopefully it looks good because I want to see it.
Yes, but what I was gonna say something. But basically,
Go watch the movie.
Yes, I was gonna also say back to that thing about like Infinity Stones and hybrid characters with godlike powers.
Yes, because he also survived interacting with an Infinity Stone.
Even though like Star-Lord's father, Ego, the Living Planet, said that if Ego dies, Star-Lord will just be human. There's nothing to say he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to see him actually re-unleash his half celestial power in Avengers Endgame. And again,
he was stupid. He wasn't stupid. He was too stupid to try and figure it out in Infinity War.
Well, that's kind of his character, though.
Yeah.
Again, he's just like that.
He's a hot-headed idiot, as a bunch of them are.
Yeah, like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I loved it when
Thor's
they
a bit of a hothead.
Though he has
the power. He has the actual power to back it up.
Which is again why I want to see Captain Marvel interact with Thor.
Yes.
I want to see them just, banter.
Yes.
Try to one-up each other. That would be awesome. But anyway, yes, it was good. And
Yes. Try and avoid all the backlash surrounding the movie, but if you enjoy comic book movies, if you enjoy Marvel, go watch it.
So, I've been a guy wearing a Starfleet Next Generation Captain's uniform.
And I'm a guy who's too big to fit in this Deadpool hoodie. Bye.
Keep an ace up your sleeve.
Keep it weird.